I got my library card for the first time ever this past week.
Hell yeah, dude. It's
And
good for you.
dude, I was in the library and this one girl was like telling her friend about I don't know, some smut book or something. Dude, it was like the most brutal story I've ever heard. And I'm just like
Yeah.
overhearing it, trying to look for a book. And this guy that she's talking about, like the antagonist, there's no way this is a good guy. He's just doing all these terrible things and she's saying it out loud. And I'm just like, I don't know, like it's crazy because when I looked at her, I was just like, oh, she looks like a nice, nice lady.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
stuff that was coming out of her mouth, I was just like, oh my God. Like it's stuff I can't even repeat.
I'm telling you, man, I feel like some books are only smutty. Like that's the only thing that is that people like or connect with.
Yeah,
Like,
there's no storyline. It's just that's the point of it.
yeah, it's porn. It's just porn. You're
Yeah.
reading porn,
Yeah.
which is fine, you know.
Yeah. But it has like some nice words in it,
But
so it
yeah,
makes it
be
pretty.
honest about it,
Yeah.
though. Be honest, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, call your shots how they are. Like say what it
Mhm.
is. Well,
Don't say I'm enjoying some literature. Say I'm reading porn.
yeah, I love how they use like different words for it, like calling it smut or whatever, you know.
Those books are like not new either. I think it's just like our generation is just finally getting hip to it.
Yeah. So it's getting
Cuz
popular
like that's
now.
been like been a stereotype, like the older woman who
Yeah.
reads the like, spicy books, the steamy books.
Yeah, well, it's funny because when I was looking through the books, I saw a couple Colleen Hoover books. I think we talked about her
Yeah.
last episode. And
Yeah.
I flipped the book and I look on the back, and it's exactly how I would picture Colleen Hoover would look, like
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
a T.
yeah.
Like I could have drew her.
She's just and it's very hard to write anything, so I imagine it's very hard to write a book. But like, dude, when I was reading that one, I think it was All Your Perfects. Like sometimes when I'm reading a book, I cannot stop hearing the author. And
Hmm.
she was just like this like older, very horny woman.
Hmm.
And it was like, there has to be some plot.
Yeah. Like, what's the point? What am I reading?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to. Well, I asked on Instagram. I asked like, give me some romance suggestions, and I got probably like 10 different books. I go to the library. I couldn't even find the authors. That's how you would have thought it was like an abandoned hotel. It wasn't even a library barely. But what I did end up getting was I got the mythology book. And you might be asking, why did you get a mythology book, right?
Big ideas simply explained.
The number one thing that I've realized about mythology, because I looked it up, I was like, why is mythology even a thing? Because you've heard about it since you're a kid. Everybody's heard about mythology and Zeus,
Yeah.
Poseidon, and they basically said that it was created to teach lessons, right, and values or whatever.
It's religion.
Basically, I go in and I read Zeus because he was like the first person that I recognized in the book. This guy
Uh-huh.
is terrible.
He's a dog, man.
The worst person
That
I've
guy
ever seen in my
is
life.
the worst. One thing that's cool about a lot of polytheistic religions is that like they are not of like the gods and the pantheons,
Hmm.
they're not always the good guys. Like
Right.
oftentimes they're dicks.
Yeah. The terrible people. And
Yeah.
you'll watch like a Disney movie. Like I remember watching Hercules and I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh, it's so cool. Like the way that they portray them, they're like heroes and they're
Yeah.
strong. And then you read like the real, like really what really went down. And it's like, it's almost like an episode of like Maury or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Without
yeah, yeah.
without the cameraman chasing him. But the
So what did you read that like what was the story of Zeus that you read?
So I've only had the book for like a day or two, but what I did read, I wrote down some notes because it was just so bizarre. Like, because I just had no idea. Basically, this
I was
dude.
really into Greek mythology as a kid. I was really into like the Percy Jackson books and stuff. So this is right up my alley.
Okay, this is perfect then. So the first thing I wrote down was Zeus was banging a lot. Like,
Yeah,
that's
constantly.
the main point, right? He had many affairs, and there is one story where he slept 9 nights in a row and he had 9 daughters. So one for every night. And this
Yeah.
dude was so down bad, he would literally shapeshift to get laid. Like, think
Uh-huh.
about he's the definition of bro or can I where's my hug at? He's
Yeah.
literally the definition. Like this dude turned into like a cuckoo, like a mini bird. He turned into a bull and like chased this
Yeah.
woman like down into a field. And like, dude, it was just like this guy went to the greatest lengths. You know what I
Also,
mean?
he was knocking these women up.
And they weren't asking
Like,
for it. That's the worst part.
Zeus, you are that's like that's actual insane behavior. Like somebody needs to arrest this man. That's Nick Cannon behavior. Except I would
Yeah.
argue Nick Cannon is a better father.
Right. Because at least he has a hit TV show.
Yeah, at least he's wilding out. Zeus is just like
Yeah.
just smiting
Insecure.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was I don't know. It was just like baffling to me because I think growing up you were taught that these guys were like people in mythology were like strong and here and heroic and like
Yeah.
almost like idols. And then you go and read it and you're just like, this is I want to take the book back after I read like what I've read. Like this is not fun. I feel like a bad person for reading this.
That's the thing about a lot of those stories too, is like they are the heroes of the stories are like sent on these journeys or like have to overcome shit that the gods did to them.
Hmm.
Like the Odyssey and the Iliad are like two of the like most famous um Greek pieces of literature,
Hmm.
like still in circulation, I would say.
Hmm.
Greek?
There's a
Yeah.
bunch of different,
Um
yeah.
I couldn't remember if they were potentially Romanian or Roman rather.
Right, right.
Um but that, like, whole thing, like, Odysseus is just getting, like, fucked over by, like, a bunch of different gods at different times. There's,
Yeah.
like, one point in the book where he gets trapped on an island, and it's, like, this goddess's island. She's, like, a titan or something.
Hmm.
And and they're the only 2 people on the island, and he spends the entire time there just like, "Oh, man, I miss my wife. I wish I could go home." And the woman that he's stuck on the island with is just like, "It is time to pipe now."
What? Why
Yeah,
did she
yeah.
want that?
I I guess he
He
had
was laying it
that,
down.
he had that shit, like, he knew what he was doing,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
like, the pickings are slim, the bar is very low for a lot of men,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. That's basically all that they did in mythology was everyone just was banging each other. There were so many affairs.
That's just, like, there was nothing else to do. There was no, like, Netflix, you just
They had superpowers, man.
well, but,
Like
like, how many days in a row could you, like, turn water into a fish? You know what I mean? Like, before you're like, "Alright, what else is there to do, man?"
I don't know. I would I feel like it'd be fun to have like like Olympic games or something.
Yeah, but even those were very sexual.
Were they?
Oh, yeah. Greek
Yeah.
Olympic Games? Dude, like, the first wrestling events, they would oil the men up and they would wrestle naked. That's not a bit.
That's wait, who wrestled? Do you know do you have an example? Do you have a
Like,
link?
of
I'm kidding.
I think that's still something that happens in Turkey. I don't think it's, they're naked though, but,
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah.
oiled wrestling is, like, still sort of a thing. Very homoerotic.
Yeah. I actually edited for somebody that was had screenshots of that wrestling, the turkey men. They had it
Turkey
on
men?
yeah, they had it on their PC and I had to edit a video, so I know what you're talking about. Um, yeah, it was just like, I don't know, it was really bizarre and I halfway through reading it, I was just like I thought it was gonna be more interesting and then I just kinda like felt bad, you know? Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
in the read I really wanted to read about Medusa, but when I
Uh-huh.
looked up her timeline, it was before this book starts, like the creation of this universe or whatever. Like she was right when she died was right when this book starts because I thought it would be really funny to picture Medusa in foreplay and she just stares at your penis and it gets hard.
Yeah,
Like
nice.
I don't know, I feel like that would be easy. I didn't really get much farther than that, but I was like, "That's a funny thought."
Yeah.
Like,
You're like, "That'd be cool."
yeah.
I think the
Um,
storyline of Medusa is really just that, like, she was so hot that she was like, "Man, I'm so hot, I'm probably hotter than Aphrodite." And Aphrodite was like, "No, bitch," and she turned her into Medusa.
and her hair into snakes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
and
pretty sure
was it
it's something along those lines.
I don't know if it was Athena. You might be right, but it was one of the sisters, right?
I think are you what are you talking about?
When Medusa first got her she got cursed and she had the
Mhm.
like whoever did it, I thought it was Athena that did it because she was mad at her, but I didn't know about the hotness thing.
Maybe. That could also be right. I think I might be confusing 2 different things, but I think Medu it's actually a really sad story because Medusa gets, like, assaulted,
Mhm.
I think, in a temple of one of the goddesses, and the goddess is like, "What was she wearing?" You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. That
Something like
is
that.
yeah. There's
They're not great people.
yeah, that's what I've learned, and I'm taking this book back. It's like that's what I've decided. Uh, but another thing that I like was looking at because I don't know, I love like I'm a big savory guy, right? Like I love saltiness. Like when I'm eating like Chinese food, I'm always
Uh-huh,
adding soy sauce. I get the low
uh-huh.
sodium so I can use more,
Okay,
and
yeah.
it makes me feel better about myself. But
Uh-huh.
but then I looked up, I was like, what are all the flavor profiles? Because I was like, there's sweet,
Salty,
salty,
sweet, bitter,
sour.
sour, and umami?
That was the one I found umami, and I was like, have I ever one
You
heard of
have.
it, two
Uh-huh.
had it. What
I
is it
mean,
like
there's
mushrooms? What is
uh,
umami?
umami is oh god, this is really testing my culinary knowledge. Umami is the, like, savory, like, sort of it's often associated with, like, Chinese food or, like, Asian foods, and,
Really?
like MSG or, like or,
Madison
like,
Square Garden?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Madison Square
I haven't
Garden,
been
or,
there.
like, fish sauce has, like, a really strong umami taste,
How would you
or oyster
describe it?
sauce. It's like a savory sort of like
As an
God,
aftertaste?
I don't even know, like,
Are
it's
mushrooms
it
umami?
yes? Question mark?
It's
I don't
like
know, man.
my whole problem with it is like what it I don't feel like it's strong enough to be there. It feels like a cousin of salty. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
it sounds like salty and bitter had like they had a nice night, a couple drinks,
uh-huh.
and then umami comes along and it's like, "Hey, I want
No,
to be a part of
dude.
the club."
Umami is a very distinct flavor profile, man. Umami without umami, most without your mommy, most of the most delicious cuisines would fall flat. I'm talking a lot of Asian foods. I'm
Okay.
talking about Indian food, technically also an Asian food. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like a lot of like Greek and Mediterranean foods
Mhm. Oh,
because of the like uh I don't know, actually would Greek and Mediterranean food fall into that category? But like umami as a flavor profile is where it's at. Let me put you on to something else.
okay.
Deglazing with wine.
Deglazing with wine.
Are you hip
Okay.
to this? Have you heard about this?
No, but it sounds like a good time.
Deglazing with wine is the if I'm like if I want to make dinner for a woman,
Mhm. Are you
dude,
talking
your
about like
shoulder just
combining
popped.
you talking about like combining wine with pasta? Is that deglazing?
It can be, yeah. So basically, like imagine you're cooking like chicken, right?
Yeah.
And you get like you brown chicken, and then on the bottom of the pan, you get like the brown like residue, I guess.
Mhm.
You throw some onions in there,
Mhm.
you throw a half a cup of red wine, let's say
Mhm.
a Merlot or a
Mhm.
Cabernet,
Right.
immediately elevates the dish. Throw a little bit of throw a pat of butter in there. I'm telling you, man, I wish I could deglaze everything. I wish I could deglaze a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah. It's that good.
It's that good. You gotta
I mean,
step into this world with me.
well, I did work at Olive Garden, so we didn't call it deglaze. They would have like a special menu basically for it, where they would have like certain dishes with red wine, and then on the other side would be a white wine dish. And I don't know. I haven't really dove into wine that much, so I'm not that knowledgeable about it. But I do know about that. Like I've tried it, but I haven't cooked it.
Mhm.
You know what I
There's
mean?
something so romantic about, like, splitting a bottle of wine with a woman too.
Yeah, for sure. And listening to some music,
Yeah.
you know.
I feel like
Um,
I'm definitely a romantic guy, man.
oh
I feel
yeah,
like
same.
I feel like I could definitely turn that shit on.
Oh yeah. It's just
Give me your get okay, 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 okay.
okay. Let's
We're,
go here.
we're a
Let's go here.
couple
Let's go here.
we're a couple of dates in. Let's say we're 4 dates in.
Okay.
All right. It's going pretty well. Still a little bit of the nervousness of like, I hope this is going where I'm hoping it's
I really
going.
like this person if I feel that.
You're coming, you're either coming over to her place
Right.
or she's coming over to your place.
Right.
Break down break down the evening for me. Like what is the plan? Let's say she's coming over to your house, your place, you're going to cook
Okay.
or other way around, doesn't matter. Just
Okay.
break it down for me.
Well, I would prefer to cook for the women because I feel like I like cooking, and two, it just
Mhm.
feels nice. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like a typical like cook for me, woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
It's an
it's
act of service.
yeah, it's an active service. It feels nice. I would first ask her like what she likes and if she's allergic to anything. Because if you mess that up, then it's a
Yeah.
bad start. But let's
Uh-huh.
say she likes the dish already. Um, I feel like a good way to go. You want something clean. You don't want grease on a date ever.
Yes. Yes. Especially because like she's coming over. You
Yeah.
want something maybe a little bit on the lighter
Yeah,
side.
no chilies, like no
Yeah.
burritos.
Yeah.
I'd go. You know what a great date meal is? I think something light because if it's too heavy on the carbs, you could
Yeah.
just really like it could start at a 9 or 10 and it just you have too much pasta. It's
Yes.
let's take a nap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say honestly something like you can't really go wrong with like chicken or like something like maybe some sushi
Yeah.
or you
Sushi
know
is a solid one.
because you yeah, and if you know how to use chopsticks, that's bonus points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Just 2 forks. Um
Yeah, just instead of chopsticks, you just give her 2 forks and she has to
with
use
a
them
rubber
like that.
band on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so let's set this up. So let's say she's coming over in like an hour. I would probably grill some chicken or air fry it because air frying is just like so much easier. It's easier to clean up. And I would maybe do like some chicken quesadillas. I feel like chicken quesadilla is a nice like snack. You want like a finger food maybe?
Yeah. Oh, like while she waits for the meal?
I
Or
mean,
is
you
that the meal?
could. It depends. Like I feel like there's so many different factors of this. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? But what are you gonna say?
I would so okay. For me, especially if it's early on, I'm
Right.
swinging for the fences, man.
Okay.
So I start off, I'm gonna go to the grocery store and pick up everything I need. While I'm there, or even like maybe swing by a floral shop, I'm getting flowers because
Hmm.
like always sets a good tone.
Oh yeah.
Like, I cannot tell you how many women I've dated have told me, "Wow, this is the first time a guy's bought me flowers."
That's crazy.
The bar, I'm telling you,
Is
man,
low.
it is a good time to be a single guy. The
Hmm.
bar is very, very low to
Hmm.
clear. Just
Hmm.
be nice and you're already like a couple steps ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So, flowers,
Hmm.
a must. I'm getting a bottle of wine because like
Yeah.
how fucking that's always a classy move.
Yeah.
I'm going probably like a lemon chicken, probably like a white wine then. Lemon chicken with like maybe some green beans or asparagus or like a Brussels sprout.
Yeah.
Um
Asparagus is a
and
little dicey. Like, especially if you have some special kinks.
what is that a thing? Oh,
Go on though.
but so probably like Just you gotta deep clean the apartment.
Oh yeah.
Deep clean the apartment. We're eating, probably catch a movie, probably have a little bit of wine, probably roll something California related, probably just like as the movie is winding down, I let her know like, I deglaze that chicken. And then
Whisper sweet nothings. That's what you say.
yeah, and then it's on. And then it's
Oh,
on.
I deglaze that chicken.
You you like the
You into glazing?
a little thyme, rosemary,
Ooh.
threw a pat of butter in there too.
Slides the
Little
butter under the couch.
little cream fraiche,
Just get real fancy.
some shallots to not overwhelm the natural flavors of the chicken.
Undo your bow tie and your tuxedo.
Yeah, a bow tie, dude, a bow tie is almost never a good look
No, unless you're like a clown, right?
unless you're like Bill Nye.
Yeah, or the Dumb and Dumber, maybe.
Yeah,
Remember that movie? Yeah, I think that's a good move. I don't know if I'd go lemon chicken, but I like it. It's all preference
yeah.
for sure. Pairing it with wine's a good move. Um, what kind of flowers are you getting?
Depends on the girl,
Yeah,
but I feel like it's hard to go wrong with roses.
right. I think roses are a good pick. A lot of the times when I ask a woman what her favorite flowers are or what her favorite flower is, she'll say, "I don't care, they're all pretty." So you
Mhm.
really can't go wrong with any flower.
Yeah.
Um,
But a solid move is also just like getting a bouquet
I was
with a
just gonna
lot
say
of the
that.
colors that she's into.
Yep,
Like if she's really into yellow, getting a bouquet with like a lot of yellow flowers, or
yep,
even just like, dude, it is so just being, I'm telling you, let me put you on game. Just be nice to women.
yeah.
And it
Goes a long way.
it goes so far. Like I got a girl flowers and I told her these reminded me of you.
Oh yeah,
You know what
yep,
I'm saying? Like
yeah.
it's just I don't is this a douchey thing to say? I feel like they make it so easy.
No, they do. They really do. I think also too, like when you're choosing the colors, if you can match like colors well, say like the colors complement each other, then she'll also know that you know how to dress well. He's like, oh, like this dude is putting, you
Yeah.
know, I don't know, yellows and whites together, so he kind of understands what looks good. Um, but yeah, it's so easy. Like all you have to do is just you could handpick them. You could go to a couple different flower shops. You could have them put some nice plastic wrap around it, and just like the physical act of handing it to her is gonna be
Yeah.
like it's gonna blow her mind, which
Yeah.
sounds crazy,
It
but it really
really
will.
is. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say to answer the question you asked me 20 minutes ago, I didn't give you a solid answer or like a straightforward answer. I would make something light with chicken because I think that's just an easy way. I think with wine, I would go a sweet wine. Man,
Yeah.
I would go with like I can't think of the name, but I would go with something like sweet. I'm not a big bitter fan.
I like
Um,
a bitter wine.
you do?
Yeah, I like the tannins.
Yeah. No, I that means nothing to me. What you said, but I respect it. Um, but yeah, I think a nice light meal and wine. Also, also a huge thing is having the like melters. I'm not a, like candles are great because you
Oh
can
yeah,
light
yeah,
them,
yeah.
but the amount of times I've burnt myself lighting something is
That's
stupid.
crazy to me, to be honest.
Unless you have like the extendo on it.
You weren't like a kid that played with fire?
No, I wasn't the last airbender. No.
I was totally that kid, man. It stressed my mom the fuck out.
Oh, I bet. I mean, then you
I would
started lighting joints, so
yeah, yeah.
like it just continued.
I would be like on the side of the house with like a ball of napkins and a bunch of dried leaves, just like setting shit on fire.
What's the what? Okay, here's a good question. What's the what's the biggest radius of fire before it gets scary
It depends on where we are.
in your
Because a
room?
lot of oh,
Like,
dude, if we're in my room, any fire is a fucking red alarm. Like,
what's your
especially
first move if you don't have a fire extinguisher?
um go so I am one of those people, shit hits the fan immediately. I'm like, everybody calm the fuck down. I got this.
Okay.
I don't know. I get very I get locked in.
Yeah.
So like
Everybody calm
if
down. I'm locked in. That's
everybody
what
shut the fuck up. I have this.
that's what I want to hear the firefighter saving me saying I'm locked
Yeah.
in.
The first thing I do, and I was thinking about this last night because I was cooking with oil and I was putting
Oh my
something in the
god.
oven,
So
and I was like,
scary.
if this caught fire, my apartment complex, people could die. I
Yeah.
have to be. I was legitimately, my internal monologue was like, I have to be responsible for everybody's lives right now.
Mhm.
My first move: go to the bathroom, turn on the bath. I'm just
Okay.
gonna take a real quick dip to focus.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna grab all of the towels out of the cabinet and just drench them
In
because
oil.
yeah, exactly. Because oil, if you throw water on oil,
It lights it more.
it's gonna the vapors are gonna
Yep.
carry the oil into the air and it's gonna spread. But if you get a wet towel and smother it, then you're good.
Okay. You don't have baking soda in your house?
I'm sure we have baking soda, but honestly, it did not cross my mind that I could do that until you just mentioned
Oh my god. Imagine you call me on Discord during a fire, because that's what people do.
it.
And you're like, what do I do?
I
Yeah.
think I probably have like a half a cup of baking soda in my apartment, to be honest.
Yeah, that'd probably just be sad if you just put like not enough baking soda.
Yeah, it's like tossing a cup of water into a raging fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
People do a lot of fires. Like I live in California. There's like a ton of fires here,
Yeah.
so like people are very aware of fire safety. Um, but like if you go to the beach, a lot of the times you'll see like pretty big bonfires.
Mhm.
Like I I think depending on where you go. But like one time I was at what beach was I at? And oh, it was in Santa Barbara. And there was like a pretty big bonfire that was like happening and I don't know why, but like a lot of times when there's a bonfire or when there's a fire going, before it gets too big, people start like jumping over it.
Yeah.
I
That
don't know why people do that. But, like, so it started getting bigger and people were still jumping over it, and this dude's pants caught on fire,
Oh
and he,
my
like, just
god.
he, like, put it out pretty quickly, but I was just thinking, like, dude, like, it's so hard to recover from being on fire. You
Yeah.
can't just be like, "It's cool. Anyway, what's going on with you guys?" You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like,
Yeah.
"Dude, no, you were on fire."
Yeah. That I actually saw speaking of someone catching on fire, I saw a video of this kid that was on a bridge with his friends, probably like a college kid or something. And he covered himself in gasoline. His friend had like a gasoline canister, covered him. Like the beginning of the video was the ending of him getting drenched. Then he takes a match, swipes it, drops it on him, then does like the Jesus move that skateboarders do and
Uh-huh.
jumps off of the bridge and like it gets put out obviously by the water,
Yeah.
but it's just like, dude, you could just like play a game of Fortnite. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say though, I hate to admit that shit's pretty awesome.
It looked so sick, but like I'm not gonna support that,
Yeah,
you know,
out loud.
out loud, not like anybody's watching or listening to us right now.
Did you ever use like Axe body spray?
Unfortunately, yes.
That so anything that's like in a can like that, y-
Flammable.
aerosols are typically flammable, yeah. So one thing that we used to do, like me and like the neighbor kids that I grew up with, one time or a couple of times actually, we
Hmm.
would spray Axe onto our hands, light it, and then just go like this because the skin on your hand is thick enough that it doesn't burn unless you have like a ton. So we would just go like this and just like start smacking each other with fire hands.
Oh my god. So you
Yeah.
really were into fire as a kid.
Yeah, a little bit.
Did it ever like go wrong or no?
There was one time where, like, we weren't playing with fire, but we were playing with fireworks, and,
Oh my god, those are scary.
yeah, somebody, like, went to pick up a bottle rocket, and it exploded right before he picked it up, and, like, they tell you, "Don't close your fist around it because you'll lose your fingers." Like, if you have it in your hand, open palm, you're probably fine, or at least this is what we used to say as teenagers. It's
Mhm.
probably bullshit, but, like, as long as you don't close your fist, you're probably gonna be fine. But, like, I ran into this dude I went to high school with, like, maybe 2 or 3 years after, and he was missing 2 fingers
Oh my
because
god.
because of an accident with a firework.
Dude, fireworks are so scary. Like, when I was a kid, I was at one of my friend's house, and their stepdad was lighting off, like, this huge firework. It was called, like, Big Bertha or something at the top of a
Mhm.
hill, and at the top of the hill, that's where he was. He was by himself lighting the firework, and me and all my family and his family were at a fire. Like, and they were he was on a hill, and we were kinda angled down. Nothing's gonna go wrong in that scenario, right? So, he lights it, and as soon as he walks away, it tips over.
Oh my god.
And not only is it just tipped over, it's aimed at our families, consisting of elderly people, my
Yeah.
grandma being one of them. And it goes off. It's the biggest firework of the night, and it's exploding right at, like, you know what, a firework obviously explodes at the height, at the peak
Uh-huh.
of the altitude. The peak was the bonfire. So it's going off, and we're at the bonfire. There's cars kind of behind it, and me and one of my friends run behind the cars because we're hiding, and they're screaming. Everyone's like, ah! Obviously, there's explosions, and we run, and it's still getting through the cars. Right, we're ducked down, kind of like James Bond, and it's getting through the cars. So we're like, we're gonna run back to the house, which is kind of towards back where the firework went off, but to the
Uh-huh.
side. So we're running, and the firework has so much like propulsion that it's moving and chasing us. So we're like this, and it's chasing us, both of us, the full time. We finally get in, and we come back, and everyone's okay, and they're almost laughing because, like, no one got hurt. And my grandma pissed herself everywhere. It was just like such a traumatizing event for everybody involved. But luckily no one got hurt. Cause if his stepdad would have grabbed that, I mean, it would have been over. His arm would have been gone. That's how big this firework was. It was like one you would see at a lake.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. And then after that, every time there was fireworks involved, I watched from indoors. I was like, yeah, I'm not going through that.
What are fireworks? Like, what are they made out of?
That's a great question.
You know what I mean? Like,
Pop rocks.
yeah, probably pop rocks.
Lots of
They're
pop.
probably
Lots.
they're probably like just distilling Coke and Mentos down, and when you light it, it liquefies again, and
Yeah.
then it just creates
Yeah,
a
that's
firework.
science. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that you could build a rocket ship? Like, let's say I give you a summer to learn.
A summer.
Yeah, you get like 4 months, let's say. It's like
How
four.
big of a rocket ship? What is
um
considered what is success? What's my what's my measurement of success?
you just got to get it up into this. Yeah, it has to be a successful launch. So it has to literally get into everything, all of the trash that's, like, rotating around the earth. So you have to
The
leave earth
trash.
atmosphere. You get 4 months to learn as much as you can. You can ask questions, but you gotta, like, start learning mathematical equations in, like, rocket science. Could you do
How
it?
how much money do I have?
Infinite. But you can't.
Infinite money?
But you can't pay somebody to do it for you. Like, you have to.
Okay.
You get a role in the team. Do you think it's
No, I don't
possible?
think I could. No. I would need I feel like
How
if you
about
gave me
this?
3 years.
Well, I'll give you a year and a half and 100 McFlurries.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so crazy to me that there's people as just dumb as me that are walking the same earth as people that are smart as like how is the discrepancy in IQ so vast? Let's get into
Sometimes
politics.
sometimes I think about
Okay.
like whenever I'm feeling like, oh man, I don't know if I could like do this or make this or whatever. Like whenever I'm feeling like I am not informed enough or good enough to like make something,
Mhm.
I look at like Madam Web, right?
Okay. Okay.
Like as an example. I look at something like that
The
is on the
dictionary?
biggest scale. Madam yeah, Madam uh
Madam
like
Webster?
it's the biggest scale possible and it fucking sucks. And I that genuinely comforts me because I'm like, well, if fucking Madam Web can get made, like I could probably make something.
Madam Web. Wait, what is that? Are you talking about the
You haven't
James
heard
Webb?
about this?
The James
No,
Webb?
Madam Web, the movie that's out right now that's fucking bombing.
Oh, no, no, no. It's the spider
You haven't heard
movie,
about this? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I vaguely know about it.
So Madam Web is like Sony's newest addition to their like Spider-Man less Spider verse
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I know what you're talking about.
and and it's god awful by every
Have you seen
metric.
it?
I haven't seen it yet. I think I'm going to go see it tomorrow. But it dude, like it's bombing and people are shitting on this movie like I wouldn't say on Morbius levels, but
Okay.
we're approaching there.
Wow.
And like if that movie can get made, if
Yeah.
all of the people involved in the process can sign off on that movie,
Yeah.
I could make something. I could put out a song.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff out there.
That's like a genuinely comforting thing that like shitty art gets made.
Right. But they say art is subjective. So
Yeah,
what makes that objectively bad?
I don't think first of all, I don't think there's a thing as objectively bad, but Madam Web, it just seems I don't know.
You come back
Maybe
next
I
week
go and see.
and you're just like, this was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, honestly, that's a possibility, dude. Like
Mhm.
maybe I go and watch that movie and it's fucking awesome.
It could, but probably not.
Probably not. It's
Yeah.
judging by every metric available to me, it's probably pretty bad. But Sydney Sweeney is in it.
Do you know what the craziest part is? I have no clue who that is. And she was like the center of the Name a Woman challenge. I kept seeing. Remember, I told you about the Name a Woman challenges? Basically, girlfriends
Uh,
would go up to their boyfriend and ask, and like a ton of them would say either Gail Lewis, the Walmart employee, or they would say Sydney Sweeney. And I have
uh-huh.
no clue who Sydney Sweeney is still to this day.
She's just a very pretty woman. That's like I mean,
She an actor?
she's an actress. Yeah, she's like in
Actress. So
Euphoria. She's like in a bunch of like movies. But like I don't know. Like
yeah, she's in it though.
she's in it. Yeah, she's like one of the main characters.
I saw Dakota Johnson was in it. She's like one of the main characters.
She's Madam Web.
Oh, okay, okay. Damn. And
Yeah.
do you think like what do you think that does to like an acting career when you're like the star of Morbius or something along
Well,
the
she
lines?
left her talent agency.
Okay.
She left her talent agency and like found a new one, presumably because she was like, "This movie fucking sucks. Why would you set me up like this?"
Well, yeah. I mean, doesn't she look over the script before?
Yeah, but I think like there's got to be other people involved in the like that decision making process
Yeah.
because like she's paying so many people
Right.
and like they want to get paid too, so they're
Yeah.
probably like taking a cut of her contract. And they're
Hmm.
probably like Sony is willing to pay you fucking $12 million or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I don't
like
know.
it's like every manager that probably takes like Raid Shadow Legends deal for like a
Yeah.
content creator. I've done
Uh-huh.
a Raid Shadow Legends brand deal. It was like my first one I ever did.
Really?
Yeah, and I passed. I got like 30 people to download it. So
Well,
I ruined
would
30 people's weeks.
well, don't say that. Maybe Raid wants to sponsor us.
No, I'm all right. You don't
I
want
would
to. You don't want
I'd
to.
sell out.
You
I would
would for
sell out.
them?
It depends on how much they're willing to pay me.
They would pay a lot of money.
Probably.
Yeah, so that's not that bad of a game.
I'm willing to get out ahead of this. I'm willing to shell. I'm willing to sell out. I got bills to pay. It is tough.
Mhm.
Groceries are expensive. Oh,
Yeah.
fucking expensive rent is in California.
Yeah, dude, I don't know how you're even like I don't know how you have any fat on your body, you know what I mean?
I'm slimming down.
I was gonna say, like, isn't everybody in California on a cut? You
Kind
know?
of.
Who's gonna
Yeah.
bulk in California?
Yeah. I've
Um,
been out of carbs since 2006.
dude, it's hilarious that keto diet is still a thing and it was ever a thing. Like it's
Blows my fucking mind.
I had a friend that did keto for like
So stupid.
a month and he was quite literally dying. Like every time I talked to him, I was like, "So how's the keto diet going?" He's like, "I have no energy. It
Yeah, because
sucks."
fucking carbs are energy, man. Like,
It's like not sleeping, pretty
yeah,
much.
exactly. Like, I don't know, man. Like, you need protein and fat and carbohydrates for your body to like function properly. And
Yeah,
like all keto, like every diet is just trying to get you into a calorie deficit. We
right.
both know this.
Yeah.
Keto is just doing that by giving you super satiating foods, i.e., foods that are super high in fat or protein, and completely cutting out carbs, which carbs are just like sugar that, like, and your body likes to hold on to carbs because it's a
Mhm.
good source of energy.
Mhm.
But like, I don't know, man. Like, just eat a little bit more protein. Like, try to like
Fish, chicken.
find, yeah, like try to find like lower calorie options. Like, I don't know, like I feel like keto is the like nuclear option for losing weight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you like say if somebody was offering you like $1,000,000 and you knew nothing about nutrition, then keto is the way
Mhm.
to go. If you had to lose
Yeah.
weight fast. But if you know at least the bare minimum, you just like you said, you just do a calorie deficit and then you'll get the same results but not feel terrible every single hour of the day.
Yeah. And you'll
But
probably put on more muscle because you're presumably also working out, and like if you're full of fat and protein, you're going to feel like shit in the gym. Plus you have
yeah.
no energy because you're like no carbs in your body.
Yeah. Have you ever like and, it's like, have you ever worked out without having any energy? It's literally the worst feeling ever. Imagining every day is that.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Like your brain needs carbs, man.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I don't know.
what about with Neuralink? You think you'll need carbs?
That shit blows. I
Dude,
cannot believe there are human beings walking around with that shit in
how
their brain.
how many humans do you think realistically that there are with Neuralink? Do you think there's still one or do you think
They're
there's more?
in they're in human trials, aren't they?
I just heard that the first human got a Neuralink. So we only
Oh, I
know
don't
one
know.
for sure.
I would say it can't be more than 10.
You know how scary that would be though to be that person? Like
To
if
have
that got
fucking wires and microchips in your brain?
not
And
only
it's
that
Elon Musk's fucking wires and microchips? I wouldn't trust Elon Musk to put a fucking wire and microchip in a car. He's
yeah.
already fucking up Teslas.
Like, dude, the bounty that's probably on that person is I would be scared. Like, cause if that got out, just based
Dude,
on like Elon and his like politically and all of the drama that's dude, that would be scary.
that person is probably being subjected to more tests than like
The
the
guy that's
average
trying to stay young.
American middle schooler. Yeah.
Yeah. The scariest part too is mass production, obviously, but I think that's maybe a thing where if say that person dies, hopefully it doesn't happen, obviously, but if that person died because of Neuralink, do you think they would release that information? I feel like they wouldn't if they're trying to push the product.
I feel like government entities would have to step in. But
Yeah.
I think if it's getting close to that, because like industries don't want to be regulated, right?
Yeah.
Like they want to get ahead of any regulation as quickly as they can. So if that were even like potentially an option, like where it looks like, oh, this person's probably going to suffer like some seriously like debilitating uh ramifications from this,
Mhm.
they're probably pulling the plug. Like that's probably already been a conversation.
Pulling the
But
plug in what sense?
like they're probably gonna try
Ending
and
it?
get it out or like end or like turn it off if possible. But like I've heard Elon Musk say like, yeah, this could be really good for people who like suffer from like epilepsy or like suffer
Paraplegic.
from like yeah, like but I just don't I don't know, man. I don't trust that guy at all. I don't
Yeah.
trust him at all
Yeah.
cuz he's just like I don't know, man. He's like a con man.
Yeah, and it also feels like too soon, you know what I mean? It'd be different if, like, I felt like technology was closer to that point, but we haven't. I don't know, I feel like there's just so many other things we haven't accomplished it feels
Mhm.
like we're skipping a couple steps.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, all of a sudden, somebody can just levitate. It's like, "Hold on a second."
Yeah, we hang on.
You know,
We got to figure out some other steps first.
yeah, we're still using gas.
Exactly. Oh my god, that's such a
Like
great fucking. Oh my god, that's a great point.
like, how do we have humans that can, like, read each other's mind and we're using gasoline
Yeah, and
or, like, taxes?
like
Like, you can always blame taxes.
we still we're, fucking AI is painting and we are in factories. How the fuck did that happen?
Right, right.
Ah,
Do you think there'll be a time where humans only have, like, creative jobs? Or do you think that's just do you think they'll always have to, like, monitor AI no matter what?
I think in my perfect world, everybody would be like working less and using like technology more,
Uh-huh.
but that you would still be getting all of your needs met. Like I talk about this a lot with um like in terms of like labor, like
Mhm.
AI could be really good for workers because
Yeah.
what could happen is like you could end up working less and producing the same amount.
Mhm.
But what ends up happening is like your boss is like, hang on, I could produce the same amount if I fire half the people and have them work more.
There's an example of that already. YouTube
Yeah.
like, YouTubers that use AI, like the Keeble Bop or whatever. Like, he's literally having an AI, like he wants to get to a point where he has on-camera talent be AI. He wants to have AI script it, record it, voice
Oh, is that the
everything.
gaming
Yeah.
creator? Yeah,
And,
dude.
and
That
that's
shit's
I feel like that's a sneak peek into like mass, I don't know, labor and corporations and stuff where like you said, they could just be like we don't need humans because we're going to 100x our revenue every year.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Can I tell you what makes me really sad about that though?
Yeah.
It's the people watching it because like you don't think you deserve better content? Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it's bottom of the barrel shit.
Yeah.
It's like the worst fucking it's shapes and colors. It's
Yeah.
shapes and colors, that's
Yeah.
all it is. And people just don't have any, like, media, like, literacy skills maybe,
Mhm.
and they just accept whatever's in front of their face. Like, the thing that frustrates me to no end is the phrase, "It's not that deep." Because like,
Yeah.
dude, I promise you, it really every piece of content that you consume is that deep. Like, every creator, every creative has made so many decisions to put this in front of your face. To
Yeah.
say it's not that deep is honestly, if you tell me it's not that deep, I just assume you're dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, cuz it's like seeing something that's like fully generated by I would rather have somebody sit in their room, press record, don't edit, nothing, don't even prepare anything, and just speak their mind because that at least is somewhat authentic. And I think that's what AI
Yeah.
misses is the authenticity, you know?
AI just like AI art is just like it's so soulless.
It really is. It's
It's
so dystopian too.
it's soulless, man. Like it really gets to the question of like what is art for?
Mhm.
And so many people who are like I I don't know, man. Like it feels like they don't under it's a fundamental misunderstanding of like the accessibility of art. Like anybody pick up a pencil and start doodling. Congratulations, you're an artist.
Mhm.
Like anybody has access to art, but it's the fact that like y- there's a certain subsect of people who are not interested in actually developing or learning or exploring it in any way. They just want to be immediately good at something.
Right.
And that is frustrating to no end for me. Cuz like
Yeah.
why? What's the point of art then?
Right. Yeah, because art's function is expression. It's not a number, you know?
Yeah.
It's not typing into Midjourney, like, make me a YouTube video talking about whatever.
Did you see the new
I was just gonna bring that up.
open AI video
Sora,
thing? Sora, that's what it's called.
the text to video model thing they announced.
That's
I feel like it does have the thing with AI is like if you have if you have say a human's creativity or brain is the letter A. I feel like AI is a subsect of that to maybe fill in some gaps. It's not the main motor. You know what I mean?
AI in and of itself is not inherently a bad thing.
Right.
Like I think that's something that a lot of like very pro AI people they misunderstand about like people like my stance, people
Right.
like me and our stance. They I don't think AI is inherently bad. I think that the ways that we are utilizing it miss the mark on like what it should be used for in like a utopian society.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I keep going back to this, but like, why the fuck is AI doing art when we are fucking working double overtime in factories and shit?
Right. That's a great point. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
It
frustrating.
blows my mind.
Do you think that's just do you think that's something that only like say a subsect of people will there'll always be that portion of like the population that like uses AI for money, for numbers, and then there's going to be people that kind of understand like all right, I understand. Do you think cuz it's new that people are just trying everything with it or
I think there's definitely an aspect of that because it's
yeah.
so new. Like people are, it's new, so it's shiny, and people are pointing to it.
It's the new drop shipping AI.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like as long as there's a monetary incentive to
Mhm.
use it in what I would describe as like harmful ways, that will be the way that it's used. Like I work in marketing, man. Like
Yeah.
you think this is not like a conversation that's happening across the industry?
Dude,
Like
every platform.
marketing specifically is an industry that's very susceptible to
Yeah.
AI
Right.
because they don't want to pay creatives, they want to sell a product.
Yeah.
And the cheaper you could sell a product, the less labor you have to pay for, the cheaper you could sell it for,
Mhm. That
and the more profit you could extract.
100%. I think that's also why we saw like big companies hesitate to get into working with content creators, even like smaller ones, is because
Mhm.
they were like, why would we work with a content creator that's only going to get it to say a couple thousand people when we can just buy a Facebook ad and send it to 10 million? It's like
Yeah.
that connection or community that that creator has is going to get you more sales or impressions that are actually authentic to the seller because there's the trust involved. If I just see a Facebook ad or a YouTube ad, a lot of the times I'm skipping within 5 seconds. But if
Yeah.
it's like a creator that I trust and they believe in the product, then I'm going to actually listen and maybe even click on the website and check it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of
Especially if it's relevant to your life.
yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like usually that's what's happening when a creator
Yeah.
is promoting a product. It's relevant to what they do,
Mhm.
and oftentimes that translates to relevant to what you do if you're consuming their content.
Mhm. Yeah. It's I don't know. I think the whole AI scare or like whatever you want to call it, like the AI revolution has kind of like slowed down, at least in terms of like the news. Because I think when Chat GPT first came out, it was kind of like, whoa, like what's gonna
Mhm.
happen? And then we saw Mid Journey. It'll still progress or whatever, but I don't think it's gonna be. I think people are kind of gonna understand its role in society a little bit more as it slows down. But maybe not.
I
I don't know.
I don't know, man. Sora, I feel like Sora is a game changer.
Yeah. But what could they like? What's next? Like it's video, and then they're gonna.
I
Well, they
think
have
it's just
AI
a
girlfriends.
I think it's at this point going to be a game of refinement, and
Yeah.
the first thing that's gonna happen is, production companies are gonna start using it,
Right.
for, like, commercial use or, like, for film, which is, like, my fucking nightmare.
Hmm.
Um, like like the Flash movie, like, that's the kinda shit that, like, AI would be utilized for.
Yeah.
Um, and then, like, yeah, maybe selling solutions to problems that our current society is, like, created, like the loneliness. Like, I could definitely see, like, selling the isn't I would be surprised if there's not already, like, the AI girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're
Like, I'm
definitely.
sure there's that exists out there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I always am confident in the creativity of just like true artists, though. Like that's the thing I feel like you can never replicate. Like the emotion. Like if I'm watching a TikTok video of like someone who filmed something, and it just comes from like an authentic place of their experience or their view or whatever. Like I feel it when I watch something like that. If I'm watching an AI video, it doesn't even come close to that. And I don't know if that
Mhm.
could ever like mesh to where it's undistinguishable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I I don't think it will, but
Yeah.
I worry that people in positions of power won't care.
Hmm.
That they'll have AI that could produce something that's good enough.
Yeah. Right. And there's just more Madam Webs out there,
Exactly.
but it's AI.
And again, people will just accept it. So many people accept it because they just don't they're not interested in like critically analyzing anything that they consume.
Hmm.
I don't know. Like maybe
Yeah.
you should be critically analyzing this podcast.
I'm sure they are.
Like what are you really getting from it? What ideas uh complement or coincide with your own or clash against like the notions that you have? Like AI is not I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a scary time to be a creative.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, what can you do though? Like you just keep creating. I mean, I guess it's good to talk
Yeah.
about for sure, but I think at the end of the day, you just have to keep creating. And I've used AI in videos, but it's not my main thing. If anything, it's like it gets my mind moving. So like if I'm trying to think of an idea, I might like throw a prompt in Chat GPT and be like, all right, can this inspire? Like I use it for inspiration rather than the product itself. You know what I mean?
I think that's a good use for it. Like
Yeah.
I think like when the writers strike was happening, that was a big thing, right? Like the writers were one of the things that they were trying to get into contracts was that AI could not uh write a script for the studio or make adjustments to a writer's script for the studio, but writers could use AI.
Hmm.
Like, because the fear was a studio would just type something into fucking ChatGPT, get a shitty, good enough script, and then they would hire like half the writers or even less than that to punch it up and make it better. And because they're not, the writers aren't coming up with an original concept, and or they're just adjusting an already published script, they would be getting paid less than half of what they would have if
It's
they were actually
crazy.
pitching like a spec script.
Yeah. That's just even like saying it out loud, I don't know how they don't feel terrible
because
because they're
it
not good
because
people.
it's all about it's money,
It's
man.
greed, yeah.
It's money because how could you feel terrible when you have billions of dollars coming in? When you're fucking Dave
Billions.
Iger.
Yeah.
Dave Iger? Whatever fucking Bob Iger.
Yeah. I feel like they just need to get along. Like, I don't know. Do I look like I can fight?
Not really. But
No,
I'm also I feel like
I don't think
I
I
don't know,
do.
every guy thinks that they could fight and win
I can't.
any other guy. I feel like I could. Except I I know there are people out there who like do fucking like Muay Thai and shit.
That's why I say I can't. I don't have
Yeah,
like this
exactly.
the specific skills.
Uh-huh.
If it's just like if I'm going up against another guy, same weight class, same age, same build, and we both have the same experience, then I'll defend myself. But like that doesn't mean I can fight,
Yeah.
you know? What do you think your first reaction would be if somebody like walked up to your car and was like, "Give me all your money"?
Yeah, I was actually having this conversation with somebody else like a couple days ago.
Oh, really?
I really wish I could be the guy who okay, so this is my response. Would take out my wallet, go to hand it to him, drop the wallet because in that I just need a couple of frames where I
Yeah.
just need a few invincibility frames
Because you're a video
where
game. Yeah.
yeah, where they're looking at the wallet drop. That's my window. Bah! Get him soft jaw immediately discombobulated, and then I grab the gun, like wrestle it out of their hand. Get on the ground. I would like to say that's how I would
Do
live.
you know how to work a firearm?
No,
Okay, well, it's not a good,
and
it's
and then
not a
they
good
would
start.
immediately immediately it would start talking to me like the Green Goblin mask and be like, "Turn it on yourself."
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, because it's a cursed gun.
It'd be funny if you were saying all this while the guy's just, like, waiting,
Yeah, yeah.
but nothing's
But
happening.
realistically, I feel like I would just like I feel like I would just hand him my shit to be honest, because like it's all plastic,
Like,
whatever.
I'd be like, "You can have the cash, but, like, can I keep the"
Yeah.
trying to
Can I
barter
keep
with
my
them. "Can I
can I please
please, dude?
dude, can I at least let me keep my ID?
Dude, I just got this library card.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
due March 18th, please."
Hang on. There's some change in there.
I really don't wanna pay the fine. It's
Yeah.
$4. Can you keep a couple singles in there?
I feel like if you're cool about it, the
Alright,
person
man.
robbing you would be like, all right.
You want my money? Hey, you can have a little bit. Whatever, man.
Listen, man, you can have it. Let me just get my ID and my library card. And they're
I
like, "Oh shit, what are you reading?"
yeah, you want a book of mythology? Come on, man.
And then that's how you start a good little book club.
Hey, if I could recommend a book, it's called Steal Like an Artist.
I was thinking about sort of libraries and stuff like that pretty recently because I was thinking about like
It's pretty
how do
cool.
you meet people? Like it's really hard to meet people these
Like a
days
girl
because
or just like
no,
friends
just in general, like make friends,
as an
meet a
adult?
girl. Yeah. Because it's very hard to once you like graduate college or like high school or whatever, you're like out of school. It's very hard to meet people
Yeah.
because we don't have third spaces, right? Like there's nowhere like you go home, you go to work, maybe you're going to the gym. That's really all that you're like doing day to day. Like
Yeah.
sometimes maybe you're going to a bar or like a coffee shop, but like there's nowhere you could really go where you could exist long term without spending money.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to meet people, especially like when you're our age, like in
Right.
your 20s.
Yeah.
Um, and I was thinking like, so where do you go? Like, how do you meet people? And I feel like it really is just like you have to get out of your house. Like
Yeah.
you have to go play. You have to spend a lot of time at other places consistently, and that's hard.
Yeah. Like, what would be your best bet, you think?
The main place I go is a coffee shop. Like I'm a regular at a coffee shop, and I'm
Yeah.
friends with some of the people who work there.
Mhm.
And like you, other regulars you might run into, but like it's so hard to make friends because I recognize that I'm a very uh social kind of person and I
Mhm.
can get along with a lot of different kinds of people. So I can spend a lot of time like at a coffee shop and like have a conversation with a stranger, but not a lot of people are comfortable doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard if you're an introvert, you know, like, but I think it really just comes down to like your interests, you know, like
Yeah, totally. That's another thing.
it's hard too to have interests as an adult because a lot of times you're working, you have responsibilities. A lot of people have kids. Um, Me personally, I would say if I was really trying to put myself out there, I would probably go to a bookstore slash coffee shop because you want to meet somebody that's probably has, like I said, similar interests, but also is just kind of hanging around the place that you would hang around. Like I wouldn't go to a bar to
Yeah,
meet a girl.
totally.
I would never try to meet a girl at a bar because I was never a partier. That was just never the type of person I was. So it wouldn't really make
Mm,
sense. It'd be unfair to her, you know, just as much
yeah.
as me. Um, but I would say like, dude, it is hard. Like maybe join a club, but like, what are you gonna find a club at? Like a
Yeah.
comedy club, improv group? I don't know.
I imagine it would probably be really hard if you're like in a small town too.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I have the benefit of being in like a big city.
Hmm.
So like one of the things I've been doing is I'm trying to go to like more local music events because I want
Yeah,
to meet more musicians.
yeah.
But like if you're in a small town, like what do you do? Like how I don't know.
I mean, most adult couples meet because of work. That is like the number one place that people meet. If
That's
you,
pretty wild too.
it is.
Cause I have like a rule about not dating somebody I work with.
Yeah, it's not the best decision.
But if you think about it, like you're spending 5 days a week, 8 hours a day with this person, with these people.
Yeah,
Like mm, I get why
for sure.
I get that, you know?
Yeah. Or another like option is you'll meet someone through a friend. So like say your friend's dating someone and she has a friend, or maybe like I don't know. I feel like it's a friend of a friend is usually another option, but like yeah, it's hard. I mean, that's why dating apps are so popular now. Like it was Tinder for a while, and then people realized Tinder was basically like it was like basically Narnia. Like you're just
Mhm.
getting the Wild West. So people are kind of like Hinge and what's the other one, Bumble. But
Yeah. Which one is the one that if the girl has to
uh,
start the conversation?
it's one of those. I think they're the both like a yellowish color. So I don't know. I haven't used a dating app in I don't even know how long.
I've never used a dating app.
Yeah, they're.
I I don't think I want. I think if I download a dating
I
app,
wouldn't.
somebody needs to intervene.
Yeah.
Like that's a cry for help on my part. I know people who are in happy long-term committed relationships from dating apps.
Hmm.
I think they are the exception to the rule.
Right.
I think that is the vast minority of dating app users.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's basically the new hookup culture for sure. There are people that date from it, but yeah, I mean, like you said, if you're in a small town and you don't really have options and you don't travel and you're an introvert, what other option do you have? Like, what if you work from home too? Like, I don't blame people. I'm not saying you are, but I don't blame people for using them, but it's definitely it wouldn't be in my preference because
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. It's such a good feeling to meet somebody naturally, like organically, and be like, "Hey, what's up? Who are
And to
you?"
click,
And to click, it doesn't
dude.
even if it's not instant, but like just at all, like it's such a
Yeah.
cool feeling.
Yeah. That is a that is genuinely and this is going to sound dramatic. That is genuinely what I think we are here on this earth to do. To just like vibe with one another.
That I
So
mean, we
just like
vibed the first time we played
exactly. Yeah, that's a good example.
instantly. We were playing Apex, and it's just like sometimes you just get. I don't know what it is, but sometimes your brain waves like your thoughts and your energy kind of match up well with
But
people.
that's a good another good example, like a common interest, like we were both
Yeah.
into that game. We were both like into gaming. We were both
Right.
into like gaming content.
Yeah.
And like you can't have you ever seen those like make friend make friends events?
I
Like they're
think so.
advertised as like come to this bar to make friends. Like the whole bit is like this is a place where you could potentially meet friends.
Hmm.
I do not like those. I
Yeah.
think they are a fundamental misunderstanding of like how a friendship is built.
Right. It's like speed
Cuz
dating.
that's a great analogy. It's exactly like speed dating. You're
Yeah.
not really in a position to like see if you're actually compatible with this kind of person.
Hmm.
Cuz you're not doing and you're just hey, I want friends. That's cool with me too. Cool. You know what I mean? Like
Next. Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you need to like be you need to have interests. Like there are a lot of people
Hmm.
out there who just do not have hobbies or interest and
I was
my
one of them.
I feel like you just need that, man. Especially if you're lonely, you
Hmm.
need a hobby or interests.
Yeah.
Like you need to go and do something. You need to get out of your house.
100%. And like, there's a lot of times you might think like your work or your passion is your thing. You need to have hobbies outside of that because I
100%.
had the worst. I had the worst like outlook on it. I was like, oh, like my passion is my hobby, so I'm gonna spend all my time doing this. And then once I did it, I had nothing to talk about.
It's
And
very isolating.
yeah, and the whole point of the passion was to talk on camera. So like I was basically screwing myself. And I think having hobbies, it gives you something to learn, gives you something to talk about. It gives you a place to maybe have a common interest with somebody,
Yeah.
and it challenges you in a way to like grow and maybe just like see what you like. It's and the thing with like hobbies is like you might try like 4 or 5 and not like any of them for
Yeah.
whatever reason. It might be too difficult. It might just not match. You might not enjoy it. But eventually you'll find something where it's like, oh, like this is calming or this gives me that missing feeling that I kind of need outside of my work or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I don't know. Like I just feel like it's so you need something. You
Yeah.
need something.
Yeah.
Like you need to be a fully well-rounded human being, you need to have like varied interests.
Right, right. I don't know, it just balances you to have something that's so different. Like if you say you do something physical, like you like dancing or going to like, I don't know,
Yeah,
martial
yeah.
arts, and then you like to draw. Like those are so different from each other, but I think it's so good because also sometimes one hobby will help you in another and you don't even
Yes.
know how or why, but it does,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, hobbies are huge. 100%. That's something that I've definitely been trying to like work on. Like, I think the first thing I did was I committed to learning Spanish, which I just hit a year yesterday. That was hype.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. And then just like I don't know, getting into drawing or like learning like I want to get back into music. So I started playing the recorder because I knew it'd be an easy way to kind of just learn notes and learn how to read music through
Yeah.
that. And then I can transfer that to like keyboard and stuff. But yeah, hobbies have helped me just get out of the house.
If somebody has no hobbies whatsoever, like where do you start?
Think about what you like to consume or what is interesting or what makes you curious. So if like you are looking on Instagram and you see like a super cool video and it's like, oh, that video's so cool, but why? Is it the music? Is
Yeah.
it because of the
Yeah.
cinematography? And try to like scratch that itch, I guess, by
That's a
answering.
big that's a great way to go about it. Just like asking why do I like this and
Yeah.
just following that white rabbit.
Yeah. Because that's what got me into like content in the first place. I watched Dash EXP for and PewDiePie and Markiplier, all these guys for hours and hours and hours. And it got to the point where I was like, man, I really like the feeling that they give me, where it's like joy and entertainment. And then I dove into it. And then like the same thing with like drawing and music. It was just like, oh, I can appreciate it.
Mhm.
And the big thing about hobbies is like, you think you appreciate something until you try it. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I thought drawings were cool, and I would be like, "Oh, that one's pretty cool, but maybe not my style." And then I tried
Uh-huh.
drawing, and I was like, "Oh, everything is amazing. I'm terrible." Like,
100, dude. I could not relate more to that.
yeah,
That's 100% how I experience music now. Like ever
yeah,
since I started learning music,
hmm
the fact that anything ever gets made, the fact that like you could be scrolling through TikTok and just stumble upon somebody's original song,
hmm
that is like a modern day miracle.
yeah, yeah,
That is legitimately the most incredible human innovation that we like are able to share things that art that we make with one another, and especially music, like at least for me, it's like it's just it connects so instantly.
yeah. That's why you see all the comments from other artists or other musicians because they understand like the craft a little bit
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
like maybe it's not like the greatest song in the world, but they know like this person had to sit down, be inspired, have an emotion, have a feeling, and then write out every line.
Yeah.
Just everything that goes into it. So yeah, I 100% get that.
I feel like if you have no hobbies, just like go do everything.
Yeah,
Try anything.
yeah,
Buy like maybe consider buying an instrument. You could buy like a $60 guitar off Facebook Market, or like
that's
buy a
huge.
ukulele, or like go to like Target and like buy a disposable camera, or like
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Like there's like a number of like anything, but like
that's
you
a
gotta
good
have
point though.
something.
You made was here's my piece of advice based on what you said is always start cheap with your hobbies
Yeah,
because
100%.
especially if you don't have like disposable income or a lot of money, you want to see if you like really like something. So like when I first started to draw, or I first like this recorder is literally I got it at the dollar store. Like it's literally cost $1. And I can look up YouTube and read music and learn how all that before I upgrade because it's like why would I invest a crazy amount into something that I might not ever touch,
That's
you
a
know?
great point.
Yeah.
I feel like so many people think like, "Oh, I have to get this. I have to
Yep.
get this before I could start."
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you really don't. Just
Yeah.
start.
Yeah. Some of
Like
the best Mhm.
if you want to like make movies, you have like you
Yeah.
use your phone.
Mhm.
It's about the story before like the
Right.
camera that you're using. Or if you want to get into photography, you could use your phone. Or if you want to get into music, you could buy like the cheapest guitar. It's still a guitar. Maybe it's not like the best like world class top of the line thing, but it still makes music.
Mhm. And it'll make you better because when you work with stuff that's like cheaper or like beginner, I feel like you focus a lot more, like you said, on the art rather than the instrument, you know?
Yeah. Got a little preachy there at the end.
I know, right? Hopefully one day we'll do an in-person podcast. That would be
That's the goal for me.
yeah,
I think I don't know about you, but I think it would be really cool to get like a to have like a studio to do this in.
it'd be way better. Like
Yeah.
I always tell people cuz I 90% of the people I meet are online because of like content and social media, but I always tell people like, man, we would have so much like of a better time, a better laugh, better interaction if it was in person. Because there's so many more factors, body
Mhm.
language, space. Like
Yeah.
in this, you're literally a box. You're a rectangle for me.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Isn't that so weird to have friends who are pictures on a screen?
yeah, very weird. Episode 3
Thank
in the books.
Episode 3. Thank you guys very much for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Go outside,
Yep.
pick up a hobby, make some friends.
Tell us
Uh
about it.
yeah, like and listen,
Yep.
subscribe on all of the platforms where you listen to podcasts. YouTube.com/be serious. I think
Hopefully.
it's the name that we have settled on.
Yep.
Be serious on all platforms. Make sure you subscribe,
Yep.
leave us a review. What am I forgetting?
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Peace, guys.